This is how our Frontier opening bell gets underway today, the 10th of January. I am Bosin Amofaye. Let's get you straight to the marketplace. A mixed Monday to start the new week, the first full trading week in the year, and in the month of January, the Nigerian market climbed roughly 2% thanks to the Nigeria's Boa Foods as well as Airtel Africa. The markets ran to 51,700. We got a total equity cap of 28 trillion naira back on Monday. The market softened a little bit across a few indices, but consumer goods actually lifted the Nigerian exchange. The BRVM fell by half a percent, roughly 54 at 198.91. The Egyptian stock market was 0.59% at 16,096. The Nairobi bourse still looking for a very strong breakout to the upside since the new year started last Tuesday. 0.13% in the red for the all-share index, 126.69, while the GSE went up very strongly, 1.93%. On Monday, 78,342 investors piled into the resources segment of the South African market, the biggest exchange on the continent. That's a summary of your trading day. In the meantime, of course, Zimbabwe, if you're looking at that, the stock market also moved up very strongly on Monday. East African markets, what's making the headline? Brightstar Energy, Afreximbank are looking to drive the Africa Energy Chambers opening summit in London on January the 26th with European investors and as well as delegates from across the African continent. That's according to an exclusive interview with NG Ayuk, who is the executive chairman of the AEC yesterday evening on Arise News. In the meantime, Safaricom says it's revealing fears that new tax regime in Kenya could hive off the M-Pesa, which is its iconic brand and a money-making machine within the telco's basket of products. And President Suluhu Samia of Tanzania has appointed Emmanuel Tutuba as the new governor of the central bank. I will say congratulations. President Samia has been retooling the Tanzanian economy since she came into office just about a year ago. And Globelec, the UK energy company, says it secured 8.9 billion shillings to develop additional 35 megawatts power plants in the Nakuru region of Kenya. You've been briefed about the East African corridor. Let's look at West Africa, which includes Nigeria, with the top bosses according to African markets for 2022 led by Zimbabwe, 80.13% for the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. The market in Malawi, very small landlocked country in Southern Africa, reported a whopping 36.7% last year. The report also shows that Lusaka Stock Exchange went on 23.63% in Zambia on the back of the reforms that we've seen President Ichilema doing in the country, while the Egyptian Stock Exchange was up by 22.17%, and the Nigerian stock market, the NGX, came fifth on that particular outperformance ranking with 19.98% for 2022. Congratulations to all of you. And the Bank of Ghana is looking to sell about $200 million in FX auctions in the first quarter of this year, and that will go to the Bureau de Change operators. Ghana is looking to ease currency crunch liquidity in the country with the latest funding facility it obtained from the International Monetary Fund towards the end of last year. Bloomfield Investment Corporation has confirmed the AA- long-term rating of Societe Ivorienne, the bank. That's the bank listed on the Ivorian Stock Exchange, while Relief, which is a tech company, says it secured $3.3 million in pre-series A funding to support technology to help manufacturers expand their operations in agri-tech business across the entire African continent. That news came in early yesterday. That's one of the first in the new year, by the way. I'm stepping into the Southern African space, where President Ramaphosa says the Energy Department now will supervise the operations of Eskom, the troubled energy utility that is crippling South Africa's electricity. And that's part of the whole rejigging that the Ramaphosa's administration is trying to carry out in putting Eskom back on track. And Sonangol in Angola, which is the energy giant, says it's open tender for the import of oil byproducts. And Pick n Pay in South Africa, which is one of the retailers, says Take a Lot Pickup Point has now been opened in Cape Town, one of the country's biggest cities in terms of business and all of that, a resort of sorts. The Central Bank of Zimbabwe, which is the Reserve Bank, says local banks in the country are well capitalized within the average CAR, which is the capital adequacy ratio of about 35.4%. That's part of what the governor said when the week started. And on January the 10th, today, keep an eye on that World Bank new report that will warn that the global economy face a risk of recession in the current year, 2023. We're expecting that reports out later today. And finally, in North Africa, the operations of the West Africa's, the Egypt's reforms within the country, according to the World Bank, has helped the country to escape international crisis of 2020 to 2022, despite the current pressure on the Egyptian pound, which is faced devaluation. But of course, good news for foreign investors who are using cheap dollar using the dollar to buy cheap stocks on the Egyptian stock exchange. Now, Egypt and Greece, they are preparing what they call a feasibility study for an electricity linkage between the two countries. And John Cockerell is launching a green hydrogen electrolyzer gigafactory in Morocco, while the Libya's Ministry of Oil is talking about a higher oil production with ConocoPhillips, one of the world's international oil energy company. And that's about it all for this edition of your Frontier Opening Bell. You can watch the show again online at www.Frontier Africa Reports. Read up our stories. Go on our YouTube as well at Frontier Africa Reports to watch this report, as well as other reports and other videos on our website. And follow us also on the social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, as well as Instagram. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.